I worked in a vet. I did 2 weeks working for the PDSA, like shadowing like a veterinary nurse. That was my first bit of work experience. But that was like really good because it was working in a team. I was doing everything. I was really proactive. I was really interested in doing everything I could, asking loads of questions, and yeah, I enjoyed that.
Cool. Yeah.
I actually worked, sort of went to sort of volunteer for my GP. It was a really nice man actually. I sort of just asked him really nicely during one of the, I sort of came in just randomly, and he agreed to see me even though I didn't have anything wrong with me, and he just said, yeah, you know, speak to the nurse, and she would help me sort of sort it out, and yeah, it was really good. So did about 3 weeks with him, sort of like 3 days a week for like 3 weeks. It was really nice. Got to see a whole host of like conditions, and yeah, I thought that was really nice of him to do that. So did the GP placement. Also did like some sort of nursing home shifts, sort of doing that over a period of time, quite a while. And yeah, again, you got to see how doctors and obviously all the other sort of healthcare team work together. Got to see a lot of really interesting cases. Spoke to a lot of really sort of terminally ill patients who were actually really nice as well. Yeah, so it was good.
That's one thing actually what Akin just said I think is really important, because obviously I know quite a lot of my friends went work experience crazy and got lots of different experiences, as did I. I did loads of different work experiences, but I think it's more important, as you just kind of mentioned, when you talk about an interview, is what you got out of it. Because I think I found like I've helped my little brother and some cousins and friends prepare for medical interviews, and when you ask them like what work experience have you done, they'll just list them out, and it doesn't mean anything. So it's really important, like as from what I just gathered from what you just said, that you know you straight away telling them what you learned, what you saw, what you in a way being reflective and what you got out of it. And we all know med schools these days, and even any course loves you being reflective and basically.
And it doesn't really have to be in a healthcare setting.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
you know, as you said, you did it in a hospice. So as long as you can show that you've done something and you actually got something out of it, not just went there, just for attendance, then
definitely.
Yeah, that's
because
really
I worked in a Indian restaurant since I was 12, and I worked until I was 18, and in my gap year I worked full time as the side chef. But I started off in the sink when I was 12, and I used that. I used that when I was in the medical interview, and the interviewer turned around and asked me, "So how is that relevant? You know, what did you learn from working in a sink for a year?" And you know, it's really stressful in a really busy restaurant. This restaurant is like one of the biggest restaurants in Newcastle. And you know, I used to work in the sink by myself. There was no dishwasher. I was the human dishwasher.
Oh, right.
And you know, you learn, you know. And in the interview, I sold it as you know, I had to have good communication skills, time management, you know. And then as I progressed on, and I became a side chef, and you get more responsibility, and inevitably you get shouted at more by the chef. So and then you get more responsibility, and you got to work in a team, etc. And then when I started working as a waiter in my gap year, you know, then you still got teamwork, communication, and things like that. But all of a sudden, I had to start dealing with angry patients, conflict resolution, and all them things apply to healthcare as well. So that's the way I kind of solved that in the interview setting, and they seemed to buy it. And you know, it was true. Everything was true. But because I think that some people I found initially I was a bit tentative to mention all that, but as soon as I mentioned I worked in a restaurant, they were allowed to tell us about it, and I didn't really know why they wanted to know about it, but it is relevant, like if you have other experiences.